Well, hello people, and welcome back to part 8 of Illium, our modded CS1 build. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Last episode we got one of my favourite campuses built, sitting on the south side of the shoreline right by the bridge interchange. Settled in really nicely, didn't it? And today we're due major population expansion to help fill this university, but also push us towards the next milestones. And today we'll be working on an extension of ASUS Hills, using some very flamboyant designs with the ziggurat garden from Green Cities, and creating a bit of a green utopia to border our campus and sit very nicely on this rising terrain which will one day look over the entire downtown. Quite special indeed. Welcome back to Illium, everyone. Let's play some Cities 1, shall we? So we'll certainly move into a road time-lapse in the not too distant future, but first of all we need to prepare the terrain. So there's an actual rise over here, however this is quite close to a tile boundary, which is going to be a touch obstructive, but I don't plan to have the residential this far down the cliff anyway. And I'd also like to preserve the star fort as some sort of tourist attraction at least. But there is kind of a natural rise here, isn't there? So let's grab our terrain. Now I'm going to be quite over the top with the ziggurat garden today, so bear with it, I promise, at least I think, it will come together. So I'm going to grab the height of that highest point there, which is pretty much here. And then I'm going to try find a pretty central spot. I think an extension from here is not massively out of the question. I just want the ziggurat garden a bit further away from the tile boundary, but pretty much on this same height layer at least. Cool. So something around here should be good. Okay. And then I do want to slope this as well into its new surrounds. Terraforming is going to be a big feature of the build today. So, terrain please. Possibly brace yourselves. And then just a big soften, just to blend that new hill into what's going on around it. So first of all, let's place our king asset. Now I'm going to use some of the content creator roads for this. You get these, of course, with the bridges and piers content creator pack. And that ziggurat garden unit building will fit exactly here. I think I kind of really need to test this really. The viewpoint is as important as the build today, because one day this will look right across the skyline and all the high density that ends up occupying this space. In terms of how it looks from ASUS Hills, let's immerse ourselves in Green Cities, shall we? Let's get down in the market. It actually blends in very nicely with the forest, doesn't it? Almost kind of looks a little bit kind of Aztec-y, doesn't it? Sat over there in the rainforest. Okay, I think we'll go with that final orientation then. So there's some fun things I want to do with this. First of all, we are going to box it all in. And also begin to accentuate that layer that it's sat on, because I do want a little bit more room. Now what I want to do is just dig down a little bit, because I want to surround this thing with a little man-made lake, which will be our first instance actually of using the landscaping tools for creating our own water, our own parks. Now from a safety perspective, of course, this lake could burst at any time and flood everyone that lives down below. But we're looking past that today, because it's fine and it'll look nice, promise. Cool. A little bit of terraforming there just to create a ditch around the zig. Something like that should work wonderfully well. So we'll come into extra landscaping tools to grab our water sources. Usually with this I drop it down to the very lowest capacity. Definitely pause your game while you do it. Let's make sure we place this nicely actually, somewhere over here. And then bring that all the way down, just so it fills there. We might get some light localized flooding, but that's okay. Don't worry about it. Let's also grab that road as well, and I would like to force into bridge section. And we'll come straight out the middle, right across the side. And that gives access, of course, to the zig. I think I'll be happy with that. So I think I'll also key all around the edge of the zig as well. Cool, and then I will use move its pick a marquee just to grab the key and then set that to the same height as our road nodes. Perfect, we do get a touch of clipping there. I imagine that can be avoided with Just a touch a page up and down, I imagine. Do we have a... Oh, we do have a node in the middle. That's quite handy, actually. Let's sync that key node down as well. So it gives us something that looks a little bit like this, right? I definitely saw that out. I don't really like that dip there. We'll come to a conclusion on that. Maybe break the key or something around the bridge. But as proof of concept, obviously it's not detailed. We'll get lots of overgrowth and exotic trees around this. Some botanical gardens as well, perhaps. That sort of vibe today. Right? This is like the local green MP has been elected, and this is his first order of business, right? So otherwise, let's move into a bit of a road time lapse, just connecting into this arterial here, and also these little loose ends that currently emit from Arcus Hills. And then we can start getting lots of people living here. So here we are. I hope that was useful to see. I know I tried to combine a lot of grid and curve together, but it gives us a pretty dense suburb and a nice expansion up the hillside here, doesn't it? And we can already see, indeed, how the Sims are choosing to move around. I can, however, see where I probably don't want any traffic lights. Probably just allow priority all the way up for the main road. Now we should have no lights here, right? Yeah, everyone's good. I also went with the 4-lane European road for the arterial system, this one here, which I really like. These extra concrete or pavement textures are very welcome. Hopefully something I think CS1 should get more of, because they're really nice. Really just differentiates the network, doesn't it? And a wonderful snaking arterial. I really can't wait. Should we just do the skyline now? I want to see what that looks like. Cool. So let's get some people moving in. Of course, with CS1 gameplay, we want to make sure we don't zone too much at once, otherwise enormous, never-ending death waves will hit us. It isn't too much of a problem, they will be collected, but we'll try and keep it sensible. So I'm going to zone fairly large chunks at a time. Probably that. And we'll start closer to the university too. This way they'll hopefully have an easier commute. We still should have quite a lot of space. Yeah, still not even a quarter filled. But for these guys to make it to university education, to actually fill this campus, of course they need to move through all the other stages of education, for which we are in desperate need of high school. And power, question mark, we are in need of power. Good job I noticed that. That's not a budget issue, is it? No, we're actually over budget, we need another power plant. Where that goes though, I don't know. There's not much more room to squeeze it anymore, is there? We need another industrial area, that's probably going to be next episode, isn't it? Everyone just close your eyes. There's definitely not 2 random geothermal plants placed next to the current forestry area. You didn't see that. I will move them, of course. Once we... We're going to put another factory over here, aren't we? So, probably need a big power station build at some point. We're also putting a port over here as well, so I could put some power down here. We shall see. Beyond that, as these grow in, what I want to do now is begin to isolate some areas of this suburb, which actually needs to be painted as ASUS Hills. Let me not forget to do that. Super, there we go. That'll pull it all into green cities. Sorry, everyone. You're going to have to reapply for your planning permission, because we want green cities here. So yes, as I was saying, I want to start isolating some blocks here to hold the services that will make people want to live here, including the high school. So we'll keep it very Green Cities themed. Let's go ahead and pull in a Institute of Creative Arts. We are on a hill here, so terrain has to be factored in. And we'll just pull that slightly further off. How much capacity does that give us? Probably could do with the second one, to be honest. I'm just wondering, how fusible is this asset? I don't think we've ever tried to do this, have we, with the Creative Arts Institute? Maybe it doesn't even need to be fused. Maybe just the little back alley between the 2 buildings is enough. And we can probably concrete that up, turn it into walkable space. Which should actually look quite nice between all those planters. And we could do some bob here, which I think we might do. So those trees are a little bit in the way. Although it will remove all of them, won't it? That's just a random little beech tree, isn't it? No, it's the alder. Well, I think that's the only one I want to remove then, just so it's not in the concrete. And that'll just give us this little space here, won't it? Which will have a wonderful view itself, to be honest. Right, see the monorail in the campus there too? Does it work though? It's very modern, but I think I can get away with it. As a random note, this would also work very nicely with the Modern Art Museum here, wouldn't it? I think it would. Cool. So 2 high schools in that'll provide all the high density education, and elementary was pretty good, wasn't it? From that one high school, or from the one elementary school over there, the Korea one. But we will need one for over here. So why don't we also look at bringing in the community school in this block as well? Actually, no. I'm going to separate the community school out. I'm going to put this maybe this block instead over here. Super. Right, let's give them plenty of parks and whatnot so land value begins to increase. We'll do... I wonder if we can get one of these parks in. Just about might fit, I think. Let's push it back a little. There we go. And then we'll begin to form our terrain layers. Let's also not forget buses here today as well, because we've got that bus station down in ASUS. Quite like to use that. And I think we'll also just amend some of these nodes up to the top as well. Just so our school campus is level. This one might be a little harder. But we'll try it. Yeah, I'm happy with that. And then from here, we can bring in lots of little fun details. We'll bring the dirt pathway up to the concrete. And then we'll switch to concrete, obviously, as it passes through our little high school campus. And we can bring that off. Just as a little border against the school. And of course, some of our small concrete texture decals here. We'll just tidy up a bit of that roughness for us. Something like that. Let's bring in perhaps a little tree line as well. I want to keep all this area very... It's quite flamboyant, is the word. Also colour, palms, exotic trees, etc. Really want to lean into the Green Cities vibe today. And let's also start complementing Main Street with some Green Cities commercial as well. All this right down the main road can all become commercial. Let's go back to those buses whilst we remember. And we do already have a bus here. Which I think... I don't mind that. Do I want it to come into the hills? I think I certainly want it to come this way at least. And I think we will have another bus, which will be the main bus of ASUS Hills, because that's really the campus shuttle. And you will come down here. So let's have you stop it on the couplet. I don't mind that. And then we'll send this fairly randomly up through the hills. Stopping at major points of interest, of course, it has to come up to the zig. And then we'll feed it down here. Into the suburban dream. It can then move back through here. Before it passes by the shuttle bus again, they'll definitely walk between those two stops. And then it can loop back through the suburbs, mirroring itself on its way back. Of course, let's not forget to rename this. This can be our Arcus Hills service. We could potentially mirror that with a line running the opposite direction. But we'll just see how that one performs, bringing people back into the major hub. Now, in terms of the monorail stop, we also want to factor in where this is going to go as well. I don't think I'm going to pass it through the low density suburb, because I think that will look a little weird. So we'll probably pass it through this development. Not sure what's going to lie here yet. It might be a stadium, it could be a big mall and stadium combination. But the monorail will go down to the port regardless. I just think it look a bit too much probably coming through this sort of suburb. So we'll see at least. We'll see how that goes. I'm really loving the windy, snaky road of Green City's commercial. Although there's a lot of healthy weed here, which is alright. And yeah, I think we'll keep that going. All this Main Street commercial, we'll just fill these blocks in. I wouldn't mind a bit of office either. Let's try blend that in. I'll likely pick and choose those assets with the growables. And some high density as well. Let's not forget the high density suburb. Or apartment blocks around it. But, yeah, I think IT cluster's a bit much. So I'll pick some of the nicer, possibly wall-to-wall office, that might go nicely here. This brings us just about up to the ziggurat garden, which I don't want any zoning on the way up here. I very much want this to be super landscaped. So we'll go for a 3-meter fill with our wild hedge. Actually, no, let's do roadie. Let's do something even more colourful. We'll send the roadies down the road here. Hopefully you can see now if you haven't played with those content creator roads before. This adds a lot of refreshing new texture into the road surface, doesn't it? And then maybe even, I think, some California short palms up here as well. So let's go for the tall. That way they're a bit more noticeable. Maybe just 6 of these. 3 each side, halfway in at the ends. Yeah, there we go. It's already such a dominant feature of the city, isn't it? I wonder if we can see it from Francis. If we, you okay? I thought that was traffic then, now it's just moving, isn't it? Let's tuck ourselves in over here, shall we? On this plaza. Yeah, that's a real eye draw, isn't it? But blends in so nicely because it's kind of crescendoing with the shape of the hill, thanks to our terraforming. And of course, it's very green. It's blending in as well. Possible cool view as well from our bus station over here. Can't even see it. Oh, there it is. The tree was blocking it. Yeah, nice. I'm happy with that. I think that's going to be such an important viewpoint for the whole city as it keeps developing as well. I really think it will. Super. We need lots of other services around here as well, of course. Let's not just do education. I would love a community pool and a sports hall gymnasium combination here too. Maybe over here. That sits and fits. So we'll put that in there. And then there's even room at the back of that for a couple of mini parks, which we will have. Not the same though. Let's have not the vegetable garden. Just the little bench garden with the gazebo. And then we'll have that there. This should now allow lots of new people to come and move in here. Land value. I'm not going to zone on the main road. I might actually go ahead and upgrade that to be unzoned either side. Yeah, that's what we'll do. That way we'll reclaim those zoning tiles here. And yeah, let's keep that going all the way. Yeah, I don't really want people stopping and starting on this road, so I'll avoid that where I can. I also don't want them stopping immediately off of it as well, so I think I'm going to save myself 3 tiles from the collectors to the arterial here. Just so they're not stopping and starting coming into it. Okay, we've got a little healthcare complex here, and we also wanted the elementary school as well, didn't we? So let's add in some elementary school buildings. We'll do a large playground here. And we'll do tennis court. Or basketball, one of the two. Probably basketball. We'll have 2 of those. And the terrain's always going to be a bit of a challenge. But nothing I don't think we can't overcome. We'll splice these together. Push them back as much as we can. And then we'll bring that pathway in. And start to develop another little campus here. We only use that terrain layer in the school as well in our advantage. That'll be good. And then some trees. All the way through here. Won't even mind some little rock retaining wall features here as well. Because if we just see these scattered throughout the suburb, I think that'd be a really nice feature. It'll help just accentuate the terrain differences between all the different roads, I think. And you see these little retaining walls knocking about. There is our wall-to-wall office. Just didn't realise I was already using wall-to-wall here. Don't mind it. Goes quite nice with the Creative Arts Institute, doesn't it? Wall-to-wall and green cities do complement each other very nicely. And I'm a fan of these, so more historical. You can come in, you can stay. I might let this one change the pinks maybe a bit much for me. I'll let that grow up. Back to services, we did add a bit of healthcare in, but not a direct med clinic. I also wouldn't mind the elder care in here. Let's bring in a med clinic. I'm happy just to have this as a bit of a main street amenity. Same with our fire station. We'll pick the greenest looking one, which I think is the vanilla one. Have that on main road. Police as well. We'll do... We got a police station over here. There's one down there, isn't there? Let's maybe do a content creator one then. Let's have our country police station. Are you going to sit and fit there? Yeah, looks like it. Tell you what, doesn't the country police station blend really nicely with those European roads? Stone on stone texture is very welcome, isn't it? Oh, there goes the police, immediately sent to work apparently. And that's it for our services. Police have just been introduced just in time, it would seem. And there's our next milestone, which does give us the next tile. I'd quite like to have a look at that. So it'd be really nice. I mean, this tile is kind of a massive waste. It's only, I'd say 16% buildable land. It's even a bit of an overstatement, but I do want that eventually. But that's probably going to come with a 25 tile or 81 tile build. I do want to head this way, I think. Then again, that way would also be very handy. Well, population density is going to go here. So I'm going to grab that. Because that will unlock us more tiles. And which does actually now allow us to address this one-way road. So in the map, Teddy has this as a one-way. So it's non-functional, but it will be in literally 2 seconds. I'm going to upgrade those. That's quite a short segment at the end there, isn't it? Let's redraw that. There we go. Yeah, so we had this, didn't we? I'm just going to bow the inner road so it becomes more of a roundabout. $2.20 actually has some really nice ideas with kind of one-way single network roundabouts rather than drawing them as a perfect circle. And just using Move It to kind of force one-way roads into a circle is a really fun idea. So I think we'll go with some $2 inspiration here for this. Let's give it a bit of a surface painting. Start to decorate our networks. And we're going to keep it as National High Speed Road. I want most of these networks here to remain just kind of fast internal networks for jetting around between suburbs. Don't want to start downgrading and zoning them. I'll probably surface paint this all the way up actually. Can't stress how amazing it's been to have surface painter added. Just a bit of a difference of texture and colour makes a world of difference to CS, doesn't it? And they seem to float around that quite nicely, don't they? Let's observe a few cars take it. Yep, they're heading down there. Yeah, I'm really happy with that. Not sure how much it will take. It might have to go to 2-lane at some point. But it does give high-speed access back into this suburb. And for which these could probably do with being roundabouts as well, to be honest. But we'll cross that bridge, I think, once we extend the other road out into a port, which is what's likely to sit there. I'm not massively precious about limiting commercial just to Main Street either. Let's have it come down. I guess this one's also a bit of a main road here because it's taking you back down onto the couplet, isn't it? So I think maybe we'll isolate a few blocks of this to become commercial as well. We've also finally unlocked proper death care now as well, the Korean Memorial Park, again, which comes with the Hearts of Korea content creator pack. Probably the best death care in the game, I think. It just looks so nice, doesn't it? But these, however, work very nicely glued together because they're quite similar assets. So I'd like to find a somewhat prominent space for this, because this will provide a lot of death care for this side of the city. Maybe over here, actually, where it's a bit tamer. Maybe we can make something out of it here. So let's bring in our European stone bridge, or stone road. Stick that behind. We're not remotely at the same levels here. That's okay, though. Because we'll grab all buildings and nodes and set everyone to the same height here. Granted, with a little bit of a terrain difference. We'll turn this into a bit of a memorial park, I think. Is how I'm going to frame it. Don't need all that road up there. Pull that up to the top and we'll probably actually box that in as well. Super. Don't worry about the terrain. We'll sort that out. A little bit of soften just so we can reform those layers we defined at the start of the episode. Cool. So let's grab some of our concrete ploppable here. Get this right through the middle. They're not quite in the middle, are they? Let's just scooch across a touch. And of course, with any concrete space, we want it to be walkable, so we'll do that as well. And probably down the sides. Some slight tearing in the texture there, but we'll fix that. And then perhaps we could do a statue, but I think that might look a little bit weird on the slopey terrain. So I think we might go with a tree we never use. Baobabs? We never use the baobab. Okay, and then I wouldn't be averse to a touch of fencing. Something a bit more discreet. Maybe farming. I think farm fence always ties so nice with green cities, doesn't it? So this way we can implement our death care, which can be quite peculiar looking assets, into a bit of a memorial park or a museum. Something of that ilk, right? But having two death care buildings here will take care of pretty much any dead bodies in this suburb. And then maybe just some smaller embellishments with other trees and bushes. Wouldn't be averse to a few benches here as well. Maybe even park life paths could be a better choice for that aesthetic. Because we'll get the bench, bin, and path aesthetic. Yeah. I think I like that. Although this hill is doing my head in a little bit. I might just pull that up to the same height. That's quite high, isn't it? Maybe that's a bit too much. Just down a little bit. Just those cliff layers start to appear. There we go. With a nice little memorial, you can pretty much repurpose this into whatever you want, really. Really do love these career assets. So we'll have that there. And that'll be quite nice. That should bring us in a bit more demand now. Let's fill in the next bunch of residential. Let's come in from... Start to bring some people in over here. So we'll do this block and then the rest of this one as well. And I think with this little shape here. Let's definitely turn this into a park because I think this would be a real nice bit of green belt. And let's bring in some different pathways too. Let's do a bit of red, maybe, with the amusement park pathway. Also going to move these two nodes centrally as well. And then I imagine I'll probably tree line this. And then we'll just have this wave through the middle. And then up to the top. And then at every intersection here, we will cut across with a non-tree line pathway. Cool. We can probably fit some really nice park detailing in here. Custom cafes, actual ploppable parks as well, of course. Which I actually think the red of a tennis court might go really nicely here. Just a bit of a communal area. Nice park spaces to enjoy. Definitely change that tree lining as well. Let's go for a nice birch. Yeah. Garbage is probably going to be a problem because the garbage collection's really far from here. So we probably want to address that. With the port eventually being very close here, I would like to place in some temporary recycling centres. That does pause into the green. I'll place a third as well, but we'll probably put some proper Sunset Harbour garbage processing on this port. We shall see. But in terms of the main street lining, I think what I'd also love to do here is border the entire main street with some Illium forest. So this will wrap all the way around. Again, to lean into the Green Cities theme, I want this to be a very leafy suburb. So all these little spaces behind the buildings are perfect for a bit of Illium forest brush. It'll also help us border back onto that residential as well. So all this can become... Which will really kind of isolate it, won't it? Highlight the main street with that forest around it. How are our buses doing? Anyone picking them up yet? Yeah, there's a few. They're starting to grab it. Imagine these are going to become increasingly busier, maybe to the point of actually needing a new model. Let me just check the line. If they do start getting too busy. We've got 83 over here. 108 over there. Okay. Well, already it looks like we might need a higher capacity bus to shift this line. Right? Yeah, they're already full. All of them pretty much. Yeah, and then now I'm not clearing it. So 30 is no good. Super bendy 100 is a bit much for a suburb. Let's do the 70 capacity articulated bus. You don't have to wait a bit because they've got to come from the other side of the river now with those buses, but that's fine. But otherwise, I'll just let some time pass so we can carry on zoning up residential and then come back in once we're near some detailing. So I'm really loving this main street now. Isn't this nice? Especially with the bend in the road too, as it's snaking uphill. Really like it. Get some props there too. Yeah, but now I think before I detail time lapse, let's return to the meat and potatoes of the build, the ziggurat garden here. Now I think I'd also like to key the outside edge with network multi-tools create parallel mode. I think if we run all the way around, it should grab that. I mean, that's already pretty perfect, to be honest. I kind of like that. We can use plus and minus to increase or decrease the width. I don't want to head too far away from it, but press enter once you're happy with it. I think it's a bit of a moat, which is basically what it is, isn't it? I think I'm pretty happy with that. Let's reform the bottom of the trench now to be this layer. Actually, it's quite shallow, that, isn't it? I wonder if we can bring the water source up a touch, maybe. This could be a famously bad idea, everyone. Let's try that. Yeah, and let's terraform everything down to this new layer as well. So it's mostly happy with it. We may need another water source in here, actually. We'll see if it fills. It should do, once it's got to it anyway. And then with the space all around here, let's clear a bit of space by the crosswalks here. I love to almost expand the ziggurat garden around the edge of it with lots of green cities-esque detailing. Nature reserve pathway as well. And then we can link this all the way down into the suburb as well. Give it worthy, we will of course hook it into the inside key, or the outside key I suppose. There we go. And I definitely want it to be all the same height as well, so let's grab that section there. And come up to the same height as the nodes around here. And then we'll just hook in the occasional little pathway. Comes down to the key. And then loads of flower detailing around here, lots of colourful trees, lots of jacaranda. Maybe even a fun tree pattern. What trees are on the ziggurat garden? It's just a regular green tree, isn't it? Well, let's be a bit more exciting than that. So maybe we go... Oh, actually, if I want to do tree lining, maybe the key is the other one. Maybe we go with this. Realise I just downgraded a section on that one as well. Okay, yeah, I think that's definitely the play, isn't it? That's definitely what we want to do. And then for an eccentric key, do we want to go with the red and the green? It's quite the contrast, isn't it? Jacaranda would be quite a bold move. I think I might go with it. The order of today is being quite over the top and eccentric, I think, isn't it? Now, because we are playing with the wider official asset pool via the mods and Find It, of course, and we can come in to Find It and search for light. And you scroll down, you'll find these colourful little numbers here. They're added with the After Dark DLC. But what they do give you is very cool vertical illumination at nighttime, which can be just so nice for so many different builds. But in this instance, I'm going to use some of these little green numbers on the corners. I'm just going to add, well, only a nighttime view especially, but a really, really cool visual. And you could even go for some around here as well, you know. So many places to add these things. You could even go one on each corner of the key if we wanted to, and you can just go super silly, super over the top with them. But you know what a difference they are at night time, right? As they sit, especially from the satellite view here, they really stand out when you put these after dark lights down. I don't think I can refuse that aesthetic, right? With already a great view over this side of the river, isn't it? All we need to do now is get the rest of the homes in, some more detailing, and very likely some more wonderful park space detailing to enjoy. But let's get on with it, and then we'll be right back. get on with the detailing review, it was actually a suggestion we had last episode. Back across the other side of the bridge, to introduce a road here that allows our buses to properly pull over, and to help reduce what is a pretty busy road. So I think we'll do this. Now we probably should chunk up. How much room will we lose here if we do this? They are on the canal a little bit now, but they'll have to deal with that. And then for this, we'll just grab buildings and props. I just want to nudge these back just a touch. Okay, and then likewise with these two. Yeah, I don't like the fact there's only one traffic lane there. What does the 6 lane look like here? 6 lanes, probably a little busier or wider than I wanted for this street. Oh, hello, park bushes. We'll push you back a touch. There we go. Good job we saved ourselves that room, isn't it? To be fair, the bus only road on this section isn't really needed, is it? Because they're going straight on here. And the bus doesn't turn left down there either. Maybe fall back to a 4-lane median instead. Could even go without parking as well, but I don't really mind it, to be honest. Okay, that seems to have a bit more capacity there now, doesn't it? That's definitely flowing smoother than it was after a little bit of time. So I think I'll go with it. I think I'll be happy with that. Also just want to push a lot of these flowers and rocks back in as well. But either way, into the ASUS Hills, now Pyramid is what it's called. Our main street looks absolutely wonderful. Possibly one of my favourite main streets we've done. I've also surface painted in between a lot of the buildings, so it gives us that kind of cohesive flow, if you like, between all the different lots. Wall-to-wall office settled in extremely well with the green cities, as it always does. I just love the wind down, right? So you can still definitely have fun with zoning. I think there's definitely still a place for it in this playstyle. Like, all this is zoned, and it looks pretty great, doesn't it? But green cities, it is very zonable, to be fair to it. You couldn't do this with every district style. Vanilla is a prime example of that. Heading up, the Illium forest now surrounds the Pyramid of ASUS. Also chucked in a couple of park gates as well, so it looks a bit more official. With some information booths available here too. So you can get information on exactly what it is you're looking at, because you probably have a few questions, wouldn't you? What is that and why is it there? And then cafe space and lots of picnic space. If you want to chill out and have some sandwiches in the shades of the jacaranda and enjoy views of almost Illium. You can't really see it from here. But you know, definitely the pyramid. Just to enjoy these park grounds, which also extend down into the suburbs on either side as well via pathways. A little death car park came out wonderfully well. Sitting in amongst the suburb with lots of landscaping around it with pathways getting used. And then lots of forest border, taking us down to a little elder childcare combo with a park and some parking to round out a bit of an awkward block as this rest of the suburb sits in. There's parks scattered in and around this little central hub, which is also complemented with the school campus and some commercial, so not all residential through the, well, away from the main street basically. And then with little green spaces that take you through the forests of this wonderfully green suburb, back to different layers and levels and whatnot. Some slight slopes here, but you've got the bulk or the bulge of the building, if you like, on the terrain, so only so much space to play with. And then a little high school campus as well. Just sits in wonderfully well in amongst a very just super dense green suburb, isn't it? Now, there's a really nice view, I think, from here. You can really kind of see the rise in the terrain from the coast as it all comes up to this big ridge where the main road follows, right up to the pyramid. At this side of the suburb, looking over toward the campus, it's all residential through here, with parks, there's dog parks, basketball courts just scattered in and around just to help encourage growth in here. There's a few more spots. I think all these have zoned in now. And then the same pattern leading out of town on the highway. I won't keep this going all the way. We'll probably end it here, to be honest. And then this can join the national high-speed rail as it heads back out of Illium. In terms of this coastline here, we do have a bit to develop, and obviously this tram line is still dead. But I think I want to treat this cliffside as its own episode, because I've got a few assets I want to use here. And we'll also pull the Star Fort into that build as well as we work on this whole coast. Around the bottom of the bridge, because it's currently cut in half by the tile boundary. So we'll wait until we get over there to finish off that side of the city. But either way, I'd like to thank you all so much indeed for making it yet again to the end of another CS1 video. Thank you so much for all support on this series. It's so nice to see Illium still performing as probably my best videos of the week alongside everything else we upload, which is still crazy, so thanks for all support on CS1. If you want to help support it even further, Instant Gaming and Patreon are the best way to do so down below. Really appreciate all your support over there. A shout out to all of you, including a roll call to our beautiful Golden Egg patrons: Casino, Spartan Angel, Michael W, Bad Wolf, Louis Adlam, Phoenix ND, Blythe, Jamin, and Great C. Nice little population expansion for Illium today, and we are really kind of approaching the downtown here pretty quickly. I might do downtown Illium a little bit earlier in the series because we've always waited so long for downtown, but with the way this city is developing, that direction is kind of where we're heading anyway. Slightly we'll jump around though for a little bit. You know what I'm like with the downtown teasers. Either way, enjoy the cinematics and I will shut up and leave it there. And thank you all again so much indeed for watching. And as always, enjoy the rest of your day.